All right, Brian, thank you so much for coming in, sharing your story, your message, and everything. I'm excited for what you have in the future, and I'm excited for you to tell people and let them know what all you've been through and what all you got going on now.
Yeah, thank you so much for letting me stop by. I appreciate it.
No problem at all. So, for all the people who don't know who you are, give us a little background on yourself.
Oh man, who am I? I have been living in Charlotte for almost 12 years. From Eastern Shore of Maryland originally. Grew up playing tons of sports, mainly soccer, got into running through that. And after graduating from UNC Charlotte, running kind of became the theme of my life through jobs and hobbies and friends and wife and everything else. So yeah, now been married for coming up on 4 years, which is crazy to say out loud.
Yeah, that's good. Love is in the air.
Love is in the air.
Giving us hope out here.
And then now have 2 kids. Today is my son's 2-month birthday, whatever you want to call that. Yeah, he's 2 months today. And almost got a 2-year-old daughter. She is almost 2 years old.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what initially brought you out to UNCC? Was it the school? Did you like Charlotte already, or?
I was the same idiot that most guys are, and I followed a girl.
Nice.
Yep, followed a girl here. I was looking at a couple colleges in high school and wanted to go for architecture. And so I applied to NC State, Virginia Tech, UNC Charlotte, and maybe UVA. And I don't even remember like which ones I got into or didn't get into or anything like that.
You just knew you had to get out of Maryland.
I think so. I don't know. I think my part of Maryland, Eastern Shore, was like you're either a farmer or a surfer, and I really wasn't either of those. I played soccer. I tried lacrosse because that's what everyone did.
Big lacrosse place, yeah.
And I was terrible at it. I had no hand-eye coordination. Soccer I got, and that was about it. So my girlfriend at the time, who had been dating all throughout high school, was also playing soccer. She was looking at going to Queen's University, but she was a grade below me. Mm-hmm. So I got accepted to UNC Charlotte, and I was like, cool, like I'll head down there when she does. I'm gonna go ahead and knock out some community college in Salisbury. Yeah. So did that. Got a job at a civil engineering firm to try to get used to CAD and what engineering architecture CAD might look like. Really enjoyed it. She graduated. She got a soccer and track scholarship at Queens, which is, I feel like, the only way you can get into some of these private schools is getting some kind of scholarship to not pay their $30,000, $40,000 whatever it is per year. Yeah. So I think she actually got academic track and soccer scholarships, and that was like the way that she was going to do it. So great girl.
I probably would have followed her too.
Yeah. Continued dating. So I got done a 1.5 years of community college, got some good credits, and then when I transferred to UNC Charlotte, less than half of my credits came with me. So that's when I was like rethinking what I wanted to do. I came down here and looked at the architecture school, and so I got into the university, but I did not get into the College of Architecture. So I took arts classes, and after a semester of art, I was like, I don't think this is for me. Like, I think I'm gonna jump ship. Architecture college seems like I will only be doing that. I will not have time to like play soccer, go running, hang out with friends, like experience college. Mm-hmm. So I said I'm out. And I jumped from arts and architecture to computer science. I thought I was a nerd. I am a nerd. And I was like, I really like, at that time, I think I was getting into like Apple and like the new iPhone. I think iPhone had come out a few years before that, like the first iPhone. Yeah. And I was like, this is cool. I'm into this. I was already into like iPods and iTunes and started like playing around on computers and stuff. I was like, I'm a nerd.
The first page of the new technology.
Yeah.
Unfolding.
I was like, I'm loving this. Like, I'm totally gonna get into this and like develop an app or like do something cool. And so got into computer science, loved the first parts of it, like learning C++, and then I got like deep into coding, and I was like, I suck at this. Like, I don't think this is for me. So after a year of computer science, jump ship again. So I'm now 3 years into college and don't know what I'm doing. Still dating the same girl. She's at Queens, and you know, it was cool. I got to see a little bit more of Charlotte because I'd drive from UNC Charlotte to Queens. We'd check out Uptown. I got to know like Nodin, Plaza Midwood a lot earlier than I think some of my friends in college because they would just stay in the university.
Yeah.
So it was cool to get to know the city a little bit more.
Before the light rail was a thing, and
Oh,
you could just
gosh,
hop
no.
on and
Yeah,
on and get down here.
I took the bus because I had a job at South Park Mall working at the Apple store because I was a nerd. I had to get a job at the Apple
nice.
store.
Yeah.
So I would take the bus from campus to the Uptown terminal, and then from there to South Park Mall. What was really cool is it gave me time to do my homework. I didn't have to worry about driving. I had a vehicle here, but Apple gave me, I think it was like $100 a month that give you for public transportation or fixing up your bike, if that's the way you wanted to commute.
Wow.
And did that for a bit. So I had a couple jobs throughout college. We'll not get into that too much, but really enjoyed it. Got used to the bus system, all that, and was taking that to Queens and other places. So got to see the city, and then so like after a year in computer science, I was like, all right, I gotta figure my stuff out, and realized that along this entire time I was doing marketing for my nerdiness, or for the art side of things, or for my dad's company, and I was like, I'll just check out business school, like that's where I need to go.
Yeah.
And got into some finance classes and accounting and economics and marketing, and loved it. And I was like, all right, cool, this is me. And then was able to knock out all of that in like a year and a half. So it ended up taking me 4.5 years to get through college, but I tried 3 majors.
Yeah.
And took some funky classes. Loved it. While I was there, I got to play club soccer.
Very nice.
Which is cool. I tried walking on to a D1 soccer school, and that was stupid. I was able to keep up with them from like an aerobic standpoint, but my skill level was just not where they were at.
At least you tried.
Yeah. That year that I tried, UNC Charlotte went to the championship, the national championship, to play UNC. We ended up losing, but that was like the only year that Charlotte ever made it to the finals.
Wow.
So I was like, maybe that wasn't the team for me. That's probably a good reason I didn't make that team. So I got into club, played club soccer there. That was super fun. And then around graduation time, that girl and I went our separate ways, and started getting, got my big boy job out of college, which was at a brewery, because that's a big boy job, and loved it. And
Big boy beer.
And kind of went on from there. I don't want to answer too much, but
no.
that's kind of the college gist of UNC Charlotte.
Yeah. So then after college, you said that running really took over after college too, and so did running and your big boy job kind of hit at the same time?
A little bit. They kind of like collided. I wouldn't say it was like a cool like mingling, like let's pull these things together.
Yeah.
It was I think I was running in college through club soccer, and then I got the job at a brewery, and right away I recognized that if I'm gonna have a beer at lunch, and then at 3 o'clock we should probably have a beer, and then I'm done with work at 6 I should probably have a beer. It's like I'm not getting fat by any means, but I'm putting on some weight right now. Like this is not weight that I want.
Yeah.
I need to get back into running.
Not light beers either.
No, oh gosh, no, not at all.
Yeah.
Drinking a Hop, Drop, and Roll or Coco Loco from Noda Brewing is not a PBR by any means. Loved it, but realized quickly, like, man, I'm needing to get some running in or some soccer in or something, and join some clubs around town, just playing intramural soccer. And then I would run from the brewery, and then I happened to tell a friend about it. I'm like, I run once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week from the brewery. If you're willing to join, like I just hang out afterwards and have a beer. And that's then how Noda Brewing Run Club started. Awesome. Pretty much. So that wasn't really a thing in town then, and I'd seen done in like Raleigh area that there's like beer run clubs, and I was like, oh cool, like maybe people here want to do that too. Have a run and then have a drink. And it started on a Tuesday, which is now on a Wednesday, which is kind of funny to think about. But first time I think we had like 3 people come out. Then we had like 13. Then it was 30, and then like a couple months later, I think there's a couple times where we had like 300 people out there. It turned into madness.
That's
now
awesome.
It seems like every brewery or bar in town has like a run club or yoga piece to it, or a Pilates element, or a cycling club or something. It's just super cool to see how that's grown into its own now.
Yeah, they got it's like the breweries have their own communities built in that are not just drinking
fitness
communities. They're doing their fitness stuff as well.
Yeah,
which I love.
Yeah, it's cool to see. Like, and I think eventually what happened to me and what I've seen happen to a lot of people now that it's been like 7 years is you're going to a brewery to drink and you happen to run, and now that has flip-flopped where you're going on a run 5 days a week and you happen to have a beer every now and then kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool to see that that change occur.
Yeah, no, I agree, because I was heavily involved in the drinking community at one point, but then I was not working out with any of them.
Yep.
I didn't see them anywhere, and so when you can merge those two together, and it's also like more of like it's not in a binge drinking kind of way because you are running, you know.
It forces it to be that way.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah. So what other stuff have you been involved in? Like, because you had that job and you created that community of runners out here, and then what happened from then after that run club?
So Noda Brewing Run Club started in 2012. After the first year, we decided to put on a 5K, and the Noda 5K was born, and now it's still going, which is crazy. But the first year, I think we had like 950 people come out, which is like way above our expectations. It was so crazy.
Wow.
So I think from there, like it just this love of running continued to grow in me, and obviously like things completely flip flopped. I'd have a beer every now and then, but I would be running a ton. I remember doing a 10K, thinking like, man, I'll never go further than this. And then next thing you know, it's like, oh, there's a half marathon. Like I'm gonna sign up for that, and then I'll never go further than that. And then next thing you know, you're training for Thunder Road, now Charlotte Marathon.
Yeah.
And you'll never go further than that. And like things just kept advancing to now where I've done a couple 50-milers and just like love running. And now I've got into cycling and then triathlon. It just tumbles down the hill. So after Noda Brewing and Noda Brewing Run Club, I really found this love for running, and we had started a connection. We were sponsoring the local Whitewater Center race series. So that was like running, biking, climbing, kayaking, anything you could think of under the sun to be active. And I was starting to have conversations with Whitewater Center, and I was like, I think this seems like a place I want to go next and where I want to work. So I got a job out there as, I think I was like marketing coordinator when I started. And then it moved into this like event marketing manager role. So I was on the marketing team, but I helped handle a lot of the events that were out there. And that was anything from a concert for 10,000 people to a climbing competition for 20 people. So it was everything, and it was all just active and getting people to the Whitewater Center, which love that place.
Yeah.
So it was really fun to kind of get into this like race director role a little bit, of getting people involved in the outdoor space however they felt necessary. And the cool part about it being on trails mainly, if that's mountain biking or running, is like pace gets thrown out the window, distance somewhat gets thrown out the window. Like it's all just about being outside. It doesn't matter how fast or slow you are. And I think that really started sinking into me, and something that I then found even more of a love for running in. And I think that's when I got beyond the marathon, and I almost like started slowing down to speed up kind of thing. A lot of fun. So went into the Whitewater Center, had a blast out there organizing all kinds of events.
I bet that was awesome. I mean, I remember the first time I went out there, I thought I was in Jurassic Park. Like I literally thought, like I walked in, I swear I heard that music, and then it's like I heard the water flowing, and all the people were there, and I was like, wow, where am I?
You come through that main entrance and you just see everything, and it's like, what is this? What is this like adult water park here.
Yeah.
It's I think the founder said at one point, I want to create the most badass backyard. That's what I want. And now I look at it, I'm like, that's exactly what it is. There's 120 taps for beer. There's upwards of, I think, like 1,500 acres of land. There's 50 miles of trails out there. There's the largest man-made whitewater center in the world. It's connected to a river that you can go stand paddleboarding on. There's like 7 food options out there.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where we met.
Yes.
We met out there.
Yes, it is.
On that one morning run.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even know what I'm getting into.
Yeah, we
Trail
didn't know
running,
either.
Yeah, no one knew.
And we didn't know either.
That was probably the most intriguing part about it was like I haven't ran here before.
Yeah.
And then hitting those trails and like,
It's a different kind of running.
oh, I like that. And
Yeah.
I think I told you I liked it when it was like when it was single track.
Yep.
And not like this big. Because I was used to running on like when I did trail runs, it was like big gravel. It was just gravel runs, and I was like, oh my
cross country style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when we got into that single track, I was loving it.
Yeah.
It's like it reminded me of when I used to like go rock jumping on creeks. When I go down the creek by my house as a little kid, and just go rock skipping.
Yeah.
Kind of what it reminded
you really
me
have
of.
to think about that next step. That was something I learned a lot with trail running. Is it's funny how it works when you're running on a road. Your brain can stop working pretty fast because all you're doing is moving one foot in front of the other, and it becomes a repetition. It becomes a metronome of you just plop, 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 plop down the street or the sidewalk, and you don't have to think about much anymore. So therefore, you can somewhat tune out. I realize on the trail, you can never tune out. You have to figure out where your foot placement is going next time, and because of that, your brain stays active, and you start becoming like super creative. And I feel like that's where I find my best time to think about. If that's being a dad or a husband or like something work related, I can think about things on the trail so much more because my brain never has a chance to stop. And I mean that in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool, and also, I don't know if you felt it when you're out there, it humbles you too because you can't run at speed anymore because you're about to take your next turn or you have to watch out for that stump or there's a creek where you might break your ankle or like whatever it might be.
Yeah.
You have to slow down. It forces you to.
Yeah.
And I love when things in life do that to you.
Yeah, I remember even you saying that you were like, I think you said, did you look up and like see that we were like, that we had like the river or whatever body of water there or anything? And I was like, by the time, because we had run like 2 miles or a mile and a half or whatever, and I don't think I looked up at all because I was looking for that next foot placement and I've had a lot of ankle injuries. I was being very aware of where everything is and where my feet are.
Yeah.
And then I look up and it was like, we're really out here.
Yeah.
Like we're really out in the wilderness.
And that's why we went out there. And it's, once you get more into trail running, your vantage point starts slowly working 1 inch in front of itself to the point where you're looking 7 feet out, and then by the time you get there, your ankles and your knees remember like, oh, there's a rock coming up in 7 feet rather than 7 inches or 17 feet, whatever it is. And you also just start taking your footsteps higher and higher and higher because you realize there's going to be a rock or a turtle or a log or whatever it might be. So you really start realizing I have to lift up no matter what, so I'll just do that naturally, and I can look a little further out or look to the left or the right. And super fun. But I was at the Whitewater Center for a while, and then I started realizing I was doing all these. It was running, it was cycling, it was mountain biking, or climbing, it was kayaking, and I realized that I was starting to get away a little bit from running, and I wasn't enjoying it as much, and I wanted to get back to like strictly running. Which is then when I went and worked for Run for Your Life and the Charlotte Marathon, so a local running shop and the local marathon, and love that. So being marketing director for the store, there's 3 stores in Charlotte. There's training programs, there's races they put on galore that help host other races, and then the big one is the Charlotte Marathon. So I got to handle that for about 2.5 years and loved it. It was a different side of things. I got back to the road where I said I've fallen in love with the trail so much, so I was still running trails just on my own, and then kind of started bringing that into the road running scene a little bit, just to tell people to like do some cross training or have you checked this out before, and it was a lot of fun.
If you had a preference, and I bet it has changed over time.
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you like better?
Trail. trail. Yeah, and it may change for all I know, and it ebb and flow, if you will, but it's been ebbing for a long time towards trail. I'm sure I'm competitive in some ways, but I think the majority of me is not very competitive, and I think trail running is not as competitive of a sport as road running is, and the community is a little different.
Yeah,
I enjoy that.
And so when you do these races and stuff, do you look to win them, or do you look to beat your times, or are you competitive? Is kind of what I'm asking.
No, I don't look to win them because I think I look at trail running more as a competition against yourself. And some of these runs, the lengths that they are, there's no way you can think about the finish line because they could be 10 or 12 hours away. Like it's just, you have to take this hill right now. Let's just think about getting to the top of this hill. Let's not be the first one up the hill. Let's just think about like getting over this hill.
Yeah.
And I think that's more what you think about. And I have found that I'm decent at long distance trail running because I really enjoy being out there. So if it's 40 degrees and raining and you're at 5,000 feet elevation and you're on this bald and it's like icing on you, sideways wind, like if you only think about like you enjoy being out there that day and how cool is it that I get to run and I get to be outside today, and that 12 hours on the trail is so much better than 12 hours in an office. I'll take that all day and suffer and sweat and have my thighs burn all day compared to being in an office. And I think anyone would agree with that.
Yeah.
And you keep that mindset. I think that really helps. And I have found that I think I have that mindset more often than not, which has allowed me to perform well in these races. I can't say I've ever been on any podium by any means, but I am decent at them, which is also makes it kind of fun.
Yeah. I know for me, it's like I can push myself physically way more than I can push myself sitting in front of a desk or sitting in front of my computer trying to bang something out.
Yeah.
If I have to sit in front of my computer for 4 hours, it's usually a bad day for me.
Not much is getting done.
Yeah, it's usually a bad day for me, and then it's like I go spend 2 hours in the gym.
Yeah. And you're so much more efficient if you could look at each of those things as an efficiency scale. Yeah.
Yeah, I get way more done in those 2 hours in the gym than I do in the 4 hours in front. Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
I'm trying to flip that though, and it's hard.
It is.
It's like I just haven't trained my brain like that.
I think what I've learned is like it does still take balance. You can't just do 4 hours in front of a computer, 8 hours in front of a computer. You need that creative time, whatever that might be. If that's photography or starting a podcast or running or cycling or swimming, you need that to balance your mind.
Yeah. So how was your time working with the Charlotte Marathon and all your experiences with that? Tell us a little bit about.
Yeah. It was cool. It was my first there were large races at the Whitewater Center, but it's still trail. So like you're talking about single track, you can only have so many people on a trail at a time. So to work for a larger race was really cool to affect upwards of 6,000 people. Like to see that many people at a start line and to know that they're getting active on that day because of something that you did or said through your marketing is really cool and what I enjoyed doing. So that was really fun, and to see have those interactions face to face in our retail stores, and then see them at the start line of be it the Charlotte Marathon or one of the other races that Run For Your Life puts on, like American 4 Miler or Hit the Bricks or whatever. It's cool to see those people one day buying their shoes and the next day they're at the start line. That was really, really fun, and also I think through all of the jobs that I've had, I've really enjoyed supporting local, and I try to do that through my purchases, be it at a restaurant or at retail buying shoes, whatever it is, that was able to really shine through at a local running shop. It's my passion of running and my passion of local shoved together. So that was really nice. I enjoyed that for sure.
I can't imagine impacting that many people. It's if I tried to get 6,000 wrestlers together, it would take North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia. It would be a lot. There'd be
That's
a lot.
Big gym.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of people there, and I think that's for if you try to get a bunch of yogis like that together, 6,000. Running's just such a big community, and
it is.
I feel like most people don't like to run by themselves. There's so many run clubs that it's why are you still on the road by yourself?
Yeah.
Unless you're training.
Yeah,
But-
and sometimes you need it, but I think
Yeah.
the majority of the time, like, people enjoy being together and sweating with another person because it just breaks down all barriers. You don't know if that person wore a suit today. You don't know if that person, I mean, honestly, like here in Charlotte, was homeless today because there's nonprofits that are helping running work, so we can get into that or not, but like
Yeah.
they have a group that's trying to end homelessness through running, and when you go out on a run with someone, there may be the CEO of some company next to a gentleman who didn't sleep in a house last night. And you don't know that on a run. You have no idea. Like, you're just sweating with someone and talking to them about running, not about their job and how much they make and how long they're in front of their desk that day. It's just like, that last hill really sucked. And that sucked if you had a house last night or if you didn't have a house last night. And that's what's great about running, is it just tears away everything else. And I think that's anything in sweating, if that's wrestling or swimming or whatever it might be. Like, when you sweat with someone, you connect with them on a whole other level.
Yeah, it's just going through that adversity, that same adversity, because
Yep.
no matter who you are, that hill is that hill.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That sprint, that last mile is going to be that last mile. It's just like the weights. Like if you pick up a barbell with 135 on it, it's going to be 135 for the next guy too.
Yep. Exactly. And they've been in the same place that you have from that side of things. Like, I remember the first time I picked up 135. Like, yeah, sure, I've got, more muscles right now or less muscles, whatever it might be, or I'm in better shape. But I remember my first time picking up 135. If that's the way you're looking at things, I can't personally say that. That's not Ryan Mister saying that. Just saying that I understand that we all grow into those things. That's what's kind of cool. And same if that's lifting weights or that's running or cycling. You remember the first time on the bike or lifting that weight or whatever it might be.
And then that first 10K, the first 5K. I still haven't ran the first 10K. That first 10K might be coming up. Coming up shortly, and we can just transition right along into that. You got this awesome event coming up here shortly. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So to kind of conclude Charlotte Marathon and Run for Your Life, I had this idea of a large scale running race that my wife and I had been talking about for before I even started with Run for Your Life and Charlotte Marathon, and I'd kind of been working on it on the side, and I had let the people know at that company that I was working towards it, and I thought that dream was a little farther off than it was, and I'll get into that in a second. But I unfortunately / fortunately left a little bit earlier than I had to. I was able to kind of do it appropriately, but I was expecting to work there longer, and that this dream of ours would take longer to fully see. To develop. And it didn't. It did overnight. Here we go. All right, we're in this thing. So that dream is Around the Crown 10K, and my wife and I had been talking about shutting down the local interstate or the inner beltway of Charlotte, I-277, and letting some runners go out on that, and just creating this landmark race that we've seen in so many other cities that are around our size of 1 million to 5 million kind of people living in the city. If that's the Cooper River Bridge Run in Charleston, or if that's Peachtree in Atlanta. Why didn't Charlotte have something like this? Why wasn't there a landmark race that people could attach themselves to and say, you're not a Charlottean until you run this race? Like, this is one of the huge pieces in Charlotte. When you have a guest come into Charlotte, there's a few things you talk about. I feel like you talk about the Whitewater Center. You talk about like that we're a banking center, and maybe you hit NASCAR, and we have a cool barbecue scene. There's a lot of breweries. I think it'd be really cool to be able to throw in, hey, this highway that we're driving on right now, and you can see our beautiful skyline. It actually gets shut down once a year, and we only let runners on there as a city, and the city works together to make this cool race. And so we have this pie in the sky dream to one day do that, and then like 4 years later, we're here in 40 days kind of thing. Like, it's around the corner. So we're pumped for it. I get to do it now full time, which is wild. Like I said, it kind of like happened overnight. Our registration went really well when we popped it off, and sponsorship, like local businesses have really attached themselves to this, which has been amazing and really making it a community event. It's been crazy.
Oh, I can only imagine. And I heard something. Where did I heard it might have been on the radio that you're starting at 7:04 a.m. as well too. I thought that was just a great touch there. I was like,
yes, because it's taken a little while to shut down a highway to like get those permits in place. My wife and I, who both have like this creative marketing background, to think about some of those little things where when you see it, it's like, of course they thought of that, or like, of course they're doing that. So it's been fun to now push that out and say, yeah, we're starting at 7:04. Yeah, we thought of that. Like, yeah, we're gonna have bike valet at the start line. So if you don't want to drive that day because parking at a race typically sucks, you can bike to the start line and we'll have valet there for you. And you take a ticket just like you would a Coke when you walk into a nice restaurant, and we'll watch your bike for you. So like little things like that, one, we either had some time to think about, or we've continued to spread this message of this is a community event, like what can business XYZ do? And business XYZ say, we're gonna do this. And it's like, that's awesome. That totally fits into everything we're doing.
Yeah.
And that's been fun.
Yeah, I can.
It's cool. So there's
I mean, my gears are grinding.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and you've been a part of so many races, it sounds like already, and so many events that you know kind of what you can kind of look back and say, we were missing this, we were missing that, and then once that business steps up, and you're like, oh, this might be a good idea.
Here's how we're gonna activate.
Yeah.
I think the best word you said there though is kind of. I've always kind of been like into this racing. It's been wild to see. I've been mainly on the marketing side. I've helped with a couple other things, just with your small hometown marathon. It's not a big team doing that, so you get pushed into doing other things, which is really fun. But I didn't do everything, and now I'm doing everything, and it's been fun to learn what I didn't know before, and executing some of that as my own now, and getting the help from my wife and getting the help from other people, but really learning it on my own for this first time of like, all right, we're shutting down a highway. That's really cool. That's a good marketing piece. How do we actually do that? Like, who do we talk to in DOT? Who do we talk to in the police force, fire, medic, like everyone to get traffic control plans in place? Like, there's a lot to it, I didn't know all of that, and kind of stumbling my way through it has been really fun. And same like on some of the marketing pieces, like I wasn't huge in the sponsorship world before. Like I would help execute it once we secured that business. But now it's me going out saying like, hey, whoever, let me talk to you about this cool race I have, and here's the value of that. And it's wild to do that too. Yeah, so kind of is a good word. Hopefully by year 2 or 3, like we can execute well enough to take the kind of out of it. But right now it's definitely still like, you've kind of been working on some races before. You've kind of had some marketing background. So hopefully we can keep having fun with it.
Yeah. What's been some of the hardest, like one of the hardest things that you've had to, or hardest obstacles that you've had to overcome to make this race happen? I mean, I wouldn't know who to talk to shut down a highway. And it's like not a little highway either. It's not like I don't even know what they're gonna do when they're racing. It's like I don't know how I'm gonna get around if I'm not running, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't have to hit 270. I'm right inside 277. That's
you can see the runners.
That's the only. That's the only way I know how to go.
Yeah. It was a huge help from Open Streets. So I guess backtracking a little bit, we have some good friends, the Currys, Scott and Katie Curry. Scott works for the city, for the Department of Transportation, in specific kind of the pedestrian side of things. So how are we getting around the city via everything but cars? So he helped start this thing in town called Open Street 704. Have you heard of it?
I have heard of it.
Cool. So they shut down about 3 miles of road connecting 2 neighborhoods. If that's Belmont to Plaza Midwood, or South End to Madison Park, whatever it might be, they help shut down 3 miles of that, and they let people do things on those roads they wouldn't typically do, which is driving. So by closing the streets down, they actually open them up for you to meet your neighbor and go play ping pong or go rollerblading or blow bubbles or like have some chocolate or like something you just never would do on a street. So when we saw that come through, it was right around when we were first started talking about it, like my wife and I did, and we knew them then. So I went to Scott and I was like, Scott, like we might have to have some beers. Like I got a crazy idea that I think if I had a couple beers in you might think it's not as crazy. So like let's chat this through. And he like just educated me on who to talk to, but also like it's kind of been talked about in the past, just never executed. So what it would take to actually do it, and kind of led us through this lineup of government acronyms from CDOT to NCDOT to CMPD to, gosh, everyone else that we've talked to. I can't even think of everyone that we've talked to at this point, but yeah, it was wild. So he kind of led us through that. But I think hardest part, we're fine with it now, but looking back on it, I remember being really difficult for me to be on someone else's timeline. Like, this was our idea, and I really wanted it to happen when we wanted it to happen. And to be on the city's timeline of when this would work for them, be it even the year. Like, we started talking to them in 2000, I don't remember, 16 or 17. I think it was 17. But my idea was like, it's gonna happen in 2017. Like, we're totally gonna shut down the highway in 2017. And then like conversations started talking longer, and I was like, that's fine. Like 2018 will be a great year for this. Like, this will be really cool. And then next thing I know, like conversations are taking longer, and I was like, you know what? I just need to let go of my expectations of time, and more so have the expectation of we're gonna do something cool for the city, and when it happens, it'll be great. And I need to present to them that I want to shut down this highway for our running community. When would work best for you, City of Charlotte? And then they picked the date, they picked the time-ish. They said, hey, early morning. And I said, why not 7 to 4? And all that good stuff. So letting go of the timeline, I think for me, was difficult then. Now it's like this makes sense that we need to wait to figure out what this all looks like.
And that's difficult. Like, because especially when you're driven for a goal and you're like, I want to do this is what I want to do, and then it's like you have these obstacles and these people that are just like, it's not on their front burner.
Oh gosh, they've got so much going on.
There's a lot going on. There's tons of stuff going on, but it's on your front burner, and you're
how's it not on everyone else's front burner?
Why not?
What are you talking about, guys? It makes complete sense, and like I understand why this was a hurdle for them with, gosh, everything now. I mean, coming up we have RNC, but when we were talking, they were just getting off of like DNC, the Democratic National Convention, and then there's like NBA All-Stars are coming up, and they have these other huge things that are going on in the city that in my mind I wasn't seeing as much because it wasn't running related, so like why did it matter? And obviously that was like stupid and ignorant of me, and now I'm like, yeah, of course I had to wait for them, and like I'm just excited that the city is willing to work with us and gave us the permit to shut down the inner beltway of Charlotte. And we're almost there.
Gotta meet them where they are.
That's a great way to say it. Totally.
That's a little yoga phrase.
Yes.
Meet them where you are. And so, give us some specifics about the race, like dates and
sure.
Dates and times, things. Well, 7 to 4, but
Well, there's times. There's other times. So specifics, it's called Around the Crown 10K. So our website is aroundthecrown10k.com. There's a lot more information on there, talking through anything and everything. So we have our expo the day before. That's at Camp North End, which is just a mile north of Uptown. It's 11 to 7 on Saturday, August 31st. That's where you pick up your shirt, you pick up your bib. We're gonna have 3 bands out there. We're gonna have food trucks out there. You get a beer with your registration, so we'll have that out there. Thanks to Noda, all these ties that I've had over my career in Charlotte are now coming back, which is really cool.
Full circle.
Full circle. I don't even think we're seeing the full circle yet. I think it's starting to close the loop a little bit, but I think there's more to come. And
Semi-circle.
Yeah, we're semi-circle right now.
We're circular.
Yeah, we're starting to create an arc. We'll see if it comes around, and when it does come around, I'll report back. So that's on Saturday. We're excited to kind of do the expo a little bit differently. It's in a place where you don't have to pay for parking. Typically when you go to a big city race, like you're paying for some parking deck and you want to run in and run out, so you don't have to pay as much for that meter or that deck. Having bands out there, that's something like kind of different. So that'll be out there from 11 to 7, and then the race is the next morning on Sunday morning at 7 a.m., which is different for 7 to 4 a.m., which is different for Charlotte because we're in the Bible Belt, and in the Bible Belt you don't do anything on Sundays except for go to church, and I agree with that, and that's how it's always been. The good thing we've realized is for most of the churches uptown, they're still in their summer hours, so they don't have their first service till 10 or 11 a.m. There are some that are earlier, and we've reached out and talked to all of them. And there's some churches that are, they've made a running team. Like they've made a social group, and the pastor is going to be running that day. And from my understanding, like he's planning to go teach his sermon sweaty and good to go, and say like, yeah, I was out running today. Like I'm a part of the community. The church is a part of the community, just like this business is or that business is. And it's been really cool again, it's like another spoke in the wheel of Charlotte that is becoming a piece of this race. So that's been awesome.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when I'm like when I work out on Sunday and I want other people to join, and then it's like I know they're all at church.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, why am I working out by myself? But if I can get the pastor to work out.
Yeah, right. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool to see that they're excited about it. So race starts 7:04. We're imagining people will get out there between 6 and 6:30 to just kind of use the bathroom or do whatever they need to do. Oh man, a little tired. Sorry, that's a yawn. Yawn, and like we were talking on before, the yawn is because I have a 2-month-old and a 2-year-old essentially, and on top of the business, we're a little busy with the kids too, having fun. But
I'm starting to get some rest.
Yeah, so sorry for the yawn. But yeah, it's so it's all happening there. The big pieces in the race as well that I haven't mentioned yet is sustainability. We're taking a huge sustainable step forward, if you will, for the running community and trying to do things differently, and we hope they work out, but we'll see on September 1st how it goes. So what the biggest thing, the first step in it was the shirts we're using is from a local company called Recover. All of their shirts are made from 8 plastic bottles, be it a tech version or their quote-unquote cotton version. They're each made from 8 plastic bottles. So they are a local company that I've worked with from the Charlotte Marathon to Whitewater Center, and we wanted to use them here too. So we were excited for that. And they've then connected us with other companies that are sustainably minded as well. And we thought that would be really cool for like year 3 or year 5, and it's already happening this year because he's just been pushing us, which is really cool. Bill over at Recover, he's just a good dude doing some cool things for the city.
That's awesome.
So one of the first ones was we wanted to make this a cupless race. So in the trail running community, you typically have to bring your own bottle. You fill it up at the water station and you get on your way, and there's no waste of cups out on the trail because it's just hard to pick up and you're in nature and you just don't want to ruin things. So we wanted to bring that to the road running community. So we provide you your cup that's collapsible at the first water station, and from there you carry it with you to water station 2 and water station 3. It's like less than a gram. The thing collapses into a pocket or a waist strap or whatever. So we want to make that differently. So let's just say we get 6,000 people out to this. That's 6,000 cups per water stop. So we have 3 water stops. That's 18,000 cups that are just going to the landfill. Yeah. And it's a one-use item, and that hurts me, and I can't do it. So they're gonna. That'll be a big piece of it through a company called HydroPack. And then at the finish line, we're also not handing out water bottles. We're handing out a reusable water pouch. Thanks to Charlotte Water and Mecklenburg County Public Health came together on that, which is awesome to have like utility companies sponsor us. Just another way the city's kind of backing this thing. So you'll get this water pouch that will be filled from the hydrants uptown. They'll flush it in the week before and check it for making sure it's pure and good to go and drinkable. So we'll be using the water hydrants around town for our water stops as well as at the finish line, so we don't have to worry about packaged water getting out there or the large like 5 or 10 gallon coolers getting out there. It's just pumped in from the hydrants. So that's been a piece of the sustainability. Like I mentioned earlier, the bike valet, so allowing people alternative ways to come in, and then us really supporting that. Like, sure, you could bike to any race, but you have to find a pole to lock it to, and next thing you know, like, you got stolen. Like, we're trying to take the next step and say, like, we're going to be managing it, we're going to watch over it, make sure you're good. I feel like there's something else. We just signed Dole as our food sponsor, and they're super sustainable as well. So like all of their packaging is compostable or recyclable. The way they distribute it is all that way too. And then we're working with a local composting company to actually do that on site. So cool stuff.
Oh man,
crazy.
Yeah. So not only impacting the people, the city. Well, you're impacting the city just on a higher level.
Yeah.
Higher
beyond.
frequency too.
Yeah, it's like beyond the fitness side of things. Let's take it further.
Yeah. Oh man.
Cool.
Did you have that idea when you start? Like, was that your idea? You were like, let's just make this as sustainable as possible.
We've joked about it. We said like, we thought we were pretty eco-friendly and sustainable. But I don't think we realized, my wife and I don't think we realized we were this crunchy. Like we're feeling pretty crunchy and hippie right now, which is awesome. Like we're all about it, and we love it. And we're trying to figure out how we can become a zero waste event. There's a couple runs out there. Big Sur Marathon out in California does a really good job of it. Chicago Marathon actually does a good job of it, And if those large scale races can do it at a longer distance, like 26 miles, not 6, what can we do to become a zero waste event? So when we, like some of these races, when they leave for the day, they have one bag of trash and that's it. And they put on a race for 5,000-10,000 people. And it's like, that was your only trash, was one bag. Like that'd be so cool to leave Romaybury Park and we're heading out with our trash. And that's it. Like that'd be so cool. Or no bags.
No bags.
Yeah, or none. Yeah. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that sounds cool. And so registration's already open, obviously.
Yeah.
And then is there a final day that people can sign up, or can you sign up the day of?
So registration opened on February 6th, and we've had a couple price increases. We're up to $45 right now. That price will go up at the end of this month, so July 31st will be the last day to get it at $45.
Yeah.
It will then go up to $50 until the expo, which will then, I think it's $60 there.
Yeah.
Which is how it typically works in the running racing community. So you have price increases. It works well for marketing. Like it gets people to sign up, and it makes it easier on me. So I know how many shirts I have to order, how many medals I have to order, how many cups I have to order. So that's why we kind of try to incentivize people to sign up early, so I can forecast appropriately. So we're already at about a little over 3,000 registered now. We're hoping for 5,000 or 6,000 total by race day, which it's looking like those projections should go well.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have another less than a month and a half to sign up before you miss out on the first time ever getting to step your foot on an inner beltway in Charlotte.
Yeah, without having to change a tire.
Without having to change a tire, and acting like you're changing a tire. Oh man, the other one went out too. I better go do another lap.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna sign up before the end of the month.
Yeah.
Save that $5.
Yeah.
So let's transition a little bit more into your lifestyle. How has the running community kind of impacted you in your wellness as a whole?
Yeah. I think the big thing has been the way I look at the role of a husband and the role of a father. Like I was saying, with trail running, like it slowed me down, and I see that as a good thing. And I think that has taken shape in my role as a husband and a father as well, of like, all right, let's just like step back for a second. Let's look at the picture. Sure, our daughter is like spraying applesauce on the wall right now. We should look at that as fun. Like that's cool. She's creative right now. Like she's making some art on the wall. Like how fun is that? Good for her. We can clean it up now and freak out, or we can wait 10 seconds, wait for her to draw her picture, and we'll clean it up when we take her to the bath. Like just slow down and take in what's going on and look at it in a really positive light. I think the running community taught me, and I came in with some of that too, just from like great teachers in middle school and everything else, but like optimism and positivity, then having that build exponentially through running and being active, to then bring that on to like the wellness side of my lifestyle, I guess, of just staying positive about whatever's going on. Like there's a positive side to everything. It might not even be, it's hard to look at it when you know that positive isn't you sometimes too. Like you realize that someone else is getting the positivity out of it. You might be getting the negativity, the negative side out of it. To be able to step back and see that sometimes can be difficult, but it just takes an extra second or an extra minute.
Yeah.
And you can kind of take that vantage point.
And feeling that you are doing that for that person too is its own benefit as well. Like, I mean, I try and be as selfless as possible nowadays. Once I started saying to myself, more people I help, the less problems I'll have. And so now it's like any chance I get to help someone, I
don't hesitate.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. I don't need to get anything out of it. It's like I'll walk on the inside of the road, get splashed by someone.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like I get the negative part, but that person's dry.
Yep, and you know the long run effect of that is something we might not see, but it'll happen. And in my mind, I think it'll happen. Like I have no idea. Like we're still young, but I think that if we continue to have that mindset that it'll better someone else's life, we better someone else's life, who betters our community, who betters our city, who betters our state, blah blah blah. It goes on and on.
Yeah.
And I think it all works out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all works out.
Yeah.
Our mindset is so much better when we're positive than when we're negative. Things just happen when you smile. Good things just happen when you smile.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, even going back to your applesauce thing, it's like if you would have like nipped that quickly, it's like she might not be as creative next time.
Yep.
When it's like her pen and paper and not even making a mess.
Yep. Or singing or playing the piano or the guitar or who knows what.
Yeah.
Creating video, like I don't know. You gotta let them go. And then I think I first learned that like even with just husband before we had kids, like my view on relationships definitely changed from running and from being active of like gosh, I'm trying to think of like exact examples or anything, but it allowed me to have my own time, and I knew that I needed my own time, be that running or cycling or whatever. So it also then let me know that my wife needed her own time, and it might not be running or cycling. It might be hanging out with their girlfriends and like going to have like a night watching a movie or something like that. I don't know. But it again goes back to that different vantage point, and you need to have that. And when you have it, your wife then has it, or your partner then has it, or whoever. When you show them that side, like they see it, and then they project that onto someone else or yourself or whoever it might be. I think being active and healthy and fit has really played into the rest of my life when I'm not active.
Yeah.
It's cool how that
It's
tumbles
contagious.
over. It's contagious as hell.
If you knew Brian, you would know what?
You would know. The easy answer is you know that he loves running, and I don't know if that's how you want that answered or if it's
however you want that answer.
If you know Brian, you know running in Charlotte.
Running CLT.
Yeah.
You run CLT.
No, not that.
Not like that.
Not like that.
But kind of like that.
I hope other people see it
Yeah.
like they want to run CLT through because I have somehow inspired them in some shape or form.
Yeah. I love you've inspired me with just the community aspect that you built and just that No to Run Club. I went there for international, global run day.
Yeah.
Not even international,
That's
global.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
And I've seen all those people and everything like that. And then hearing it from your mouth now, and it was like you were just like, I was just getting fat and I wanted people to run. Like, it's crazy. It's just a little idea. And now you got 300 people coming out for an international run day, things like that.
Yeah, I think the other thing you said there too that might be beyond the active and the running side of things is the community. I think I love the sense of community and people helping one another without any monetary value. It's just like, hey, you do that, I do this. Like we should totally work together sometime and help one another out. I think that aspect of community, be it active or not, is something I'm passionate about that I've found through life.
Yeah. I'm all about community too. That's kind of what my bigger picture is for sure.
Yeah.
What is one habit that you would recommend to someone that you do to get more out of their day, their week, their life?
It's so easy to go back to running on all these answers, but
Yeah.
I think it is that, like we were talking about earlier, how we're trying to flip sometimes, like I need to have 4 hours in front of a computer to work, or in front of my phone or email, whatever it is. I think if you add in some activity, you will have a better day, week, month, life of if you get out and sweat and connect with nature. There's something that's just there deep inside of our being that needs to connect with nature. And walking on a treadmill is great. Get outside and like hear the leaves crumbling under your feet and feel the stream like in your toes. Like you'll connect with yourself in a different way than you did before. Not to get like crazy crunchy with it by any means, but man, just drive to the woods and even like just seeing the mountains sometimes, like you just feel your shoulders like lift up. You're like, oh, okay, this is where a human is supposed to be, is in nature. And I think it's taking that time each day, each week, that I think makes it a better life for sure.
I love that answer just because one, it doesn't matter what you do.
No, it doesn't. Go walking in the woods.
Yeah,
don't have to go
walking.
run or cycling. Just go like step on some rocks.
Yeah, just go listen to the bugs and the animals out there and
100%.
Yeah.
Just go sit in nature.
Just go sit out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I always finish off with like this question because I think that I can take a page out of anyone's book and like add it to my story and learn from everyone.
Yeah.
And so the question is, if you could take a page out of your personal book and give it to the world, what would that page kind of say?
Can this be like a coloring book, like that my daughter would read? That's the book that I imagine. Those are the books that I love.
Hey, it can be it can be a create your own book.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing, and I was asked about this recently. I mean, we can tie in Lululemon here a little bit. Not that we need to by any means, but I got to go on a fun trip, and the question I was asked was, if you're allowed to rent a billboard for a year in your hometown, what would that billboard say? It could be one word, it could be a picture, it could be 5 words, it could be a paragraph.
Yeah.
And the one that came to my mind, and it came to my mind right away for this too, is just smile. Like, that's all it says. That's the page in my book that I just want to hand people. And whatever it is that makes you smile, if that's active or if that's eating cheeseburgers or whatever it is, like, just smile.
Yeah.
Gosh, it changes your day and your life and everything else. Like, that's the page in my book of, if your daughter's throwing applesauce on the wall, just smile and laugh about it for a second, because it is funny. Like, at the heart of it, that is hilarious, and you need to smile about it. Like, don't correct her or him. It's your son, but I think the page is smile, and that comes back to love and optimism and positivity and all of these other things. But I think at the core of it is smile, and it's almost full circle here. Create the arc. We'll get towards the circle of running. Like, it's crazy how much if you force yourself to smile during a marathon, a 10K, whatever it is, how much it can change how your body feels. Like, you have a cramp in your calf and it sucks and you're thirsty and everything else. If you force yourself to smile, even if it's not a genuine smile, it will become a genuine smile. And some of that pain will just go away. And I've experienced it so many times. A good friend of ours got this motto into my head, if you will, that's smile every mile. And the way that we took it was, anytime you heard your watch beep, if you're running with some kind of active tracker, and you hear it beep for a mile, or you see a mile marker, or you're in a race, or you're running with a friend and theirs goes off, just smile. So it's almost a cue, because if you don't have a cue, sometimes you don't remember to do it. So this idea of smile every mile has just been stuck in my head now for like 6 years.
Wow.
And anytime I see a mile marker or hear my watch, I force a smile if it doesn't automatically come, which these days it automatically comes, but the act of smiling is so overpowering. It's cool.
I hope you have smile every mile signs during your race that I'm gonna have to create one if I'm at a mile marker.
We'll work on that.
Or give someone the idea just so that, I mean, it's out there, it's gonna be on the podcast, so smile every mile, because I actually had my roommate in college, shout out to my best friend Ross.
Yeah.
He told me that, he goes, if you start your morning and you just really like fake smile like in the mirror for like 2 minutes, and he goes, you'll naturally just smile out the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And so I don't do it every morning, but I like to when I can remember. I'll just be sitting in the car like cheesing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then next thing you know, you're smiling a little more naturally.
Yeah,
and, like,
and you see things in a different way. You see a car stop in front of you like 10 feet before the stop sign, and you don't think like, what the heck is wrong with you? You think like, oh man, I wonder if they drop something on the floor. I hope they're okay. Like, it's just, your mindset is completely changed.
Yeah.
It's so crazy what smiling leads into.
Yeah. Yeah, just a small little mannerism.
Yeah, totally that.
All right, so where can people find you in the community?
Physically, you can find me when Around the Crown is setting up at different run clubs around the city. And be that a local race, if that's trail or road, I'm typically out there. Be on race day, I'll be out there. Digitally, I'm on all the major social media outlets, Instagram and Twitter and all that, as bmr06. And then obviously Around the Crown 10K's got all their social too. So on there, I think my favorite platform though is Strava. It's an active community, and that's the account I want you to chat with me on, because that's where you can see running and cycling and swimming and all that good stuff. So, I actually pulled up your Strava yesterday when I was trying to find the question. I was like, dang, he's picked up like 70 miles this week. No, that's not true. I forget. Well,
or this month.
Oh yeah. I'm slowly getting back into it. I broke my toe a little while ago, and it was just like nagging pains. But getting back into it. Love Strava. It's fun to see. You can't fake that. You can't take your best picture if you try 7 different selfies. It's like, that's the numbers. There's your data. It's right there. And it doesn't force you to necessarily like run faster, but it does hold you a little more accountable. Like I said, I'm going out for a 6 mile run. I'm going for a 6 mile run. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Whatever it might be.
So yeah, find them on Strava.
Totally.
And then, do you have any last thoughts for the listeners?
Smile today and go for a run.
Smile and run, baby.
Smile and
I
run.
love it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.